and much have I seen. Dark distant mountains with valleys of green, past painted deserts, the sun sets on fire as he carries me home to the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre, oh mist rolling in from the sea, my desire is always to be here, oh Mull of Kintyre. And tears in the rain still take me back where my memories remain. Flickering embers grow higher and high as they carry me back to the Mull of Kintyre. My desire is always to be here, oh Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre, oh mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, oh Mull of Kintyre.
I just want to welcome each and every one of you to funeral ceremony or celebration of life or remembrance of David, Brian, Mary. I just want to thank this wonderful family for entrusting David into our care. We deem it a privilege to serve you, and you've been wonderful. Thank you, and you paid. It is wonderful. Thank you so much. We take nothing for granted. And today, as we gather in this heap, please feel comfortable. It's a bittersweet day because it's filled with sadness, but there'll be many jokes, many memories, happy memories of a wonderful wonderful man. I just want everyone to just turn around and look at the camera. Not the cameraman, look at the camera. And just acknowledge family and friends who are joining us from abroad. You are very much part of our ceremony today. As I speak to you today, Diana, the Bible says, and I know many of you probably would have heard this from the Spice Girls, but two become one flesh. And it is evident today the legacy of wonderful children, grandchildren, and 8 grandchildren, and the home and the love that you have built together. It has been a wonderful union. I just want you to repeat after me, if you agree. Just say a yes. Ambitious?
Yes.
Strong?
Yes.
Brave?
Yes.
Love?
Yes.
Provider?
Yes.
Teacher?
Yes.
Kindness?
Yes.
Love?
Yes.
Creative?
Yes.
Clever?
Yes.
Storyteller?
Yes.
Joker?
Yes.
Legend?
Yes.
Love? Love?
Yes.
Let's stand to our feet and just give him a round of applause. As we go further, we're just going to go into a time of reflection. Please be seated as we listen to this wonderful track, one of David's favourites, In My Life by
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
And that's what music does. It conjures up memories and images of yesteryear. The vast majority of you looking around this room probably wouldn't remember or know of that truck other than through Granddad or Grand-Granddad. But it reminds us, as we look through the pictures, that time is the master of our life. And he has done so much and has accomplished so much in his life. It is a message to those of us, not us, but you that are younger to make use of your time, because it doesn't wait for any man. Got a couple of tributes here, one from Big Sister Jean and another one from Little Brother Jack, and I'm going to read both. Big Sister Jean's first. My brother David came into my life when I was 7, and from then on I was his big sister. I loved him, and as a child would take him everywhere in his big pram that was almost as big as me. And when we moved into adulthood, we were always very close and shared so many important things together. And I remembered waving him off to the army and going to see him take off on his flight to Malaya. All things seemed so exotic, being then on the other side of the world. He brought back 2 Chinese tea sets from that tour, one of which was for Mum. She got the grey one, but I got the bright orange one. But I loved it. And that tea set made it all the way to New Zealand. And 60 years later, it still sits in the china cabinet with broken lids and all. And when Diana came along, she became like the sister I never had. We have had so many shared special memories of weddings, babies, holidays and parties. Our video diaries are full of these images, and they help me to remember in my old age. David was a very special brother, and although we were separated through the miles, our love and our care for one another has never changed. Rest in peace, little brother, and say hello to Stan for me. Love always, Jean. I think by the time I get through these tributes, they're going to ask for a refund, because I keep showing up. I'm supposed to be the one holding it together here, but they are so beautiful. Little Brother Jack. My big brother Dave was a role model for me. I always wanted to be just like him. Growing up, he tried to teach me to defend myself. He took me on exciting rides on his first motorbike. He had 2 handmade shirts made in Malaysia for me, which I loved. We shared our secret love of recording ourselves singing in our bedroom on our reel-to-reel tape recorder. Some of you won't remember these things. He was a god on pinball machines. One thing that we both shared was enormous love for our mum. And when I moved overseas, I knew she would always be okay with Dave nearby. When he became a parent, he was determined to be the best dad. Can we agree there? And he was. And I'm sure Dave Jr. and Debbie will agree. When my world fell apart and I returned to the UK for a couple of years, he was by my side, supporting me in so many, many ways. He and Diane helped me with the children as I adjusted to my new circumstances. He was my rock. Throughout my life, I've always looked up to him. And now, look up to the stars and see the brightest one. I will remember Dave, not just as an amazing brother, but as a fine example of a father, a husband, a son, a granddad, a workmate, a gentle, kind man, and as a good friend who knew how to love. Love you, Dave. Love you always. Jack. And at this juncture, a fitting memory from their mother, Patricia Hall, evermore. Evermore, Patricia Hall.
Places are real.
David and his mother, and to hear of the love for his mother. We are remembered to honour our parents and love our parents. It's a duty as children to love our children, and as parents to love their children. But again, as is everything, this room is filled with love. And from Patricia downwards, someone did something right. Excuse me, this is. I now have a tribute from David Murray Jr. And I'm sure Deborah seconds this, everyone. David, Brian, Mary, Diana Victoria's husband, Deborah, and David Jr.'s home. The most generous, level-headed, sensible and calculated person I've ever known today. To describe him as well-read would be an understatement. He could read and write proficiently before the age of 5, thanks to his big sister Jean, who went on to teach primary school children as her profession. From my earliest memories, Dad would visit our local library and borrow 4 books every night, each with a minimum of 500 pages. We didn't need a dictionary at home. Dad would know the correct spelling and full meaning of 99% of all words once placed into a sentence. In amongst all of these readings, Dad found time to drive his trucks for a living, 6 to 7 days a week, most of the time. Black oil tankers for hospital fuel in the winter months, and then he'd switch to Indy Court breweries in the summer months. He called it seasonal, but it really meant he hardly ever took holidays. But when he did, he'd take care of all of us, off to destinations such as his birthplace in Edinburgh. He always made sure that we holidayed each year, backbeans camping trips or a full week of days out during our school holidays, visiting stately homes, seaside destinations, etc. He loved fishing trips at sea or off a pier or by the riverbank with family members or neighbours. He loved to watch snooker and sometimes played at the local club too. Photography and photo processing was Dad's passion though. Everybody would ask for his advice on colour, slide developing, black and white enlarging and development. He was so knowledgeable. In summary then, he was a professional soldier, a professional dispatch motorcyclist, a professional radio communications operative, a professional heavy goods driver, a semi-professional photographer, an amateur winemaker, an amateur snooker ball player, an amateur guitarist, a part-time driving instructor for his brother Jack, his son-in-law Mark, his daughter Deborah, and me, his son David. Yes, we all passed our driving tests. I even observed Dad's HGV driving skills from the passenger seat of his lorry from the age of 5 onwards, which persuaded me to pursue this as my own career later on. Dad was finally offered his dream job at Tate & Lyle Sugar Factory in 1973 as one of their HGV bulk tankers drivers. This meant a higher wage leading to owning his own home and receiving paid holiday at last. With the occasional perk of foodstuffs from the factories, then he went on to deliver at. Nobody, friends or family, went without, especially during the 1974 sugar shortage, which involved him and dozens of his colleagues collecting beet sugar from Belgium. Dad was offered early retirement in 1994 after his heart bypass. Tate & Lyle saw to it that him and Mum received his full pension for the rest of his life. Much respect to Tate & Lyle. Dad had set his mind to something and hey presto, it happened to a high standard. In later years, as Dad's eyes began to fail him, he turned his attention to all things electronic and became known to his grandchildren as the computer wizard. Games consoles, PCs, etc., amateur programming, cam codes, game reproductions, he could do it all. The memories I'll treasure most are our rum and coke evenings discussing work topics while eating kindling Chinese takeaway or washing only forks and horses. I'm still amazed to this day. Dad had travelled all the world with the Merchant Navy and the British Army, and all he ever ate was egg and chips, burgers and burnt toast or crumpets for breakfast. We all love you, Dad. Farewell. You were the best. Let's just have our hands together. I was thinking about a refund, but I think I'm going to have to charge them extra all this reading. I'm telling you. Oh, blimey. Definitely a legend. We're now going to celebrate and hear the life of David Brian Merrill. So today, as we gather to remember and celebrate the life of David Brian Merrill, a much-loved husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, brother, friend, and above all, a man whose greatest devotion was always his family. Can the grandchildren just stand up and just look around at the love and the sport? The great-grandchildren. Wonderful to be serving you as a family today. Listen to these wonderful words. May your grandfather never ever be forgotten. Please be seated. As we reflect on David's life today, we begin at the very start in the streets of Edinburgh and follow the journey that shaped the man that so many of us knew and loved. He was born on the 3rd of March 1942 in Dean Village, Edinburgh, to Daisy, Hilda and George Merry. His father George was a carpenter and an active soldier. And David grew up alongside his siblings, Jean and John, affectionately known as Jack. From the very beginning, David was part of a very close family. And it is often the small human moments that stay with us most clearly. One of Jean's earliest memories of her baby brother captures this perfectly. Jean absolutely doted on David, as you heard, and would take him to the park. However, on one occasion, she got fed up, and she decided she wanted a little bit more time to play, and she left him on his own in the park. Needless to say, their mother was not impressed, and Jean certainly never forgot the telling off that followed. She only got telling off, so I would have got a bit more. In those early years, David's life was rooted in family, in laughter, and in the everyday moments of childhood. Then at the age of 9, the family moved from Edinburgh to Harold Hill, strange, where David would continue to grow into the man his family would come to know so well. A life of service and work. As David entered his late teens, his path took a decisive turn. At just 17 years old, around 1959, he joined the British Army. He trained as a radio operator and was posted to Malaya, beginning a chapter of his life that he would often return to in conversation. Who's heard the stories? Just a few hundred. David had many stories from those years, and his time in the army remained a proud and an important part of who he was. He later served in Ireland before completing his service in Germany. His army career came to an end, and he was honourably discharged following rheumatic fever. Although his time in uniform ended earlier than expected, the army had given David something lasting: experience, resilience, friendship, and stories that stayed with him for life. It was also during those years that David learned to drive. His licence covered almost everything, including HGV vehicles, and his skills would shape much of his working life. On returning to civilian life, David worked as a driver for Incoop Brewery in Romford before moving on to Tate and Lyle Sugar Refinery, where he spent many years. He spoke often and fondly about his working life, particularly his time at Tate and Lyle, and the people he worked alongside. One of those colleagues, Barry, is here today with us. Barry, where are you? Someone here, come on, give him a clap. Come on. You know what, Barry? I'm not proclaiming anything over your life, but we need to celebrate people when they're alive and not when they're dead. So we honour you today for being a friend and for being here. Sorry? Yeah? I think it's obvious that if you were around him, you didn't have much choice. Alongside his...
If you just go tuned up in a vehicle, you get out the door first, you get to the passenger seat, you can do the driving.
Yeah, they told me.
You have to do the driving, not they you.
Good memories. Alongside his working life, thank you, Barry. Thank you for being part of the ceremony. David was building something even more important, his family. On the 17th of November 1962, David married the love of his life, Diana Victoria Merry. Together they shared more than 6 decades of marriage, filled with memories, challenges, laughter and love. They became parents to Deborah and David. Over the years, their family grew into something truly special. David leaves behind 8 grandchildren and 18 great-grandchildren. What a legacy. A living legacy of love that continues throughout the generations. For his children, the memories of their father are not defined by grand gestures, but by the everyday moments that made childhood what it was. David Jr. remembers going to work with his dad, stopping for a full English breakfast, and the excitement of him coming home with chocolates from Mars and Cadbury's. He remembers being taught to play the guitar and later being taught to drive, passing on the skill that had been so important in David's own life, even though he didn't want to drive. Deborah remembers her dad taking her and David out swimming to the park and playing golf. She also remembers the father who didn't just take them places, but made those moments fun. A man who loved to laugh, enjoyed winding people up, and never missed an opportunity to take the mickey out of his children's friends. There were seaside trips too, and memories of David playing bingo with his mum. When they won, it was the children who had the very important job of choosing the prizes, a small detail that became a treasured memory. These are the moments that remain, simple, ordinary times that in memory become something far more precious. As life moved forward, one thing remained constant, David's nature. He was at heart a contented man. He did not need much. What mattered most to him was his family, a good laugh, and knowing that the people he loved were all right. He took great joy in seeing his family happy. He had a natural ability to bring humour into everyday life. He could make people laugh without even trying. And then there were the grandchildren. With 8 grandchildren and plenty of family resemblances, and I thought the same. When I saw them outside, I could see grandchildren, because there is a look that they have. David developed a very practical solution to the challenges of remembering names, especially when they were all gathered together. He simply called the girls problem solved. His great-grandchildren brought a different kind of joy in later years. They would rush to sit beside Grandad, ready to play on the DS or whatever gadget was available at the time. And of course, there was always hope that Grandad might have a few sweets nearby. Alongside his family life, David had a wide range of interests that reflected his easygoing and curious nature. He had an eclectic taste in music, moving comfortably from blues to country, enjoying artists such as the fabulous Thunderbirds, Shania Twain and Alanis Morissette. He enjoyed television too, particularly tennis, snooker and the old westerns, familiar comforts that he could relax with. And as he had a particular passion for photography, David was a keen photographer who enjoyed just taking pictures but developing them for himself. For him it was a process, one that required patience, care and creativity. He took pride in seeing the final results of his work. When we look back across David's life, we see a journey. It began in Edinburgh and moved to Harold Hill, took him into the army at just 17 and carried him across Malaya, Ireland and Germany. We see a working life spent behind the wheel, and at Taterlar we see a man who built a home, raised a family, and watched that family grow across generations. But the true meaning of Dave's life is not found in places or jobs, but is found in people, in Diana, Deborah and David, in his in-laws, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, in his 8 grandchildren, 18 great-grandchildren, in Jean and Jack, and in friends like you, Barry.
Right.
You've got to mention you're lucky.
Yeah.
And in all those quiet everyday memories that now mean so much more. David loved to talk about his army days, his work, his music, his photography, but above all he loved his family. He was a man who enjoyed a laugh, who didn't take life too seriously, and who made ordinary moments feel special simply by being part of them. And perhaps this is how he will be remembered most clearly, not only for what he did, but for how he made people feel. David was a husband, dad, father-in-law, granddad, great-granddad, brother and friend. His voice may now be silent, but his stories remain, his laughter remains, and his love continues through every generation of this family. Today we say goodbye to David, but more than that we say thank you. Thank you for the memories, thank you for the laughter, thank you for the stories, thank you for the love. And thank you for the life that gave so many people something to hold on to. Rest peacefully, David. Your journey is complete, but your story lives on in this further generation. A lot of clapping today, but we just need to put that. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer together. If we stand to our feet, please. And it's our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And as we finish, just take your seats. Just what I believe he will be saying, a poem that I have adapted. When tomorrow starts without me, the sky will still be blue. Do not cry and do not fret. I'll never be far from you. And when tomorrow starts without me, don't think all hope is gone. Get up and face the world. We've had loads of fun. And when tomorrow starts without me, you know that I am gone. I tried my best and I played my part, and now I am gone. And so what if tomorrow starts without me? Because I will tell you the truth and you'll see that this wheel called life is going to turn around. But I'll love you endlessly. Thank you.
Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrops are waiting for thee. Sounds of the rude world heard in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, list while I woo thee with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, list while I woo thee with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me.
Angel, this way. Okay, that might be an idea.
These sweets off. And he's taking them with him.
Do you know what?
Yeah. I thought they were there eating.
Yes. Please.
Yeah. No point in us buying them. So the middle ones disappear. See it? Back here.
Yeah, watch your back.
It's alright, hold him at the bottom. And you guys pull him across, please. Come a bit closer.
Come closer, please, ladies and gentlemen. As close as possible.
So as we come to this time now where we are going to commit David's body, I'll read a love chapter, which says, love is patient and love is kind. Love does not envy and love does not boast, and love it's not proud. Love does not dishonour others, and love is not self-seeking. And love isn't easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, love always trusts, love always hopes, and love never fails. And today I'm very much reminded of someone who was loved, someone who did love, and someone who is remembered with love. And as I say to everyone, when I take a funeral, there is no silver or gold in that coffin. There's no cheques, there's no dollars, there's no papers for material thing, there's no Ferrari receipts, nothing. Just the body of David Brian Merry. Naked we come into this world, and we cannot take anything with us. But what we can take is a good name and a wonderful legacy. And he's in this coffin with nothing, just a pair of trousers and a shirt. And he's on a duvet. So he's comfortable. But the worldly stuff that we're forever chasing don't matter. And so naked we come and naked we go. We come in with nothing and we leave with nothing. But now it is the time to commit. Where are commit
Gentlemen, please lift.
the body of David, Brian, Mary. Gently, gently, slowly, 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 slowly. May he never be forgotten. Let's just put our hands together. And when he may not have been a religious man, but there was an element of belief in him. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, in the hope that we'll meet him again one day. Behind you, directly behind you.
Right then.
Please feel free to take any pictures if you want. I'm going to read another short reading to remind us of the seasons of life. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. There's a time to be born and a time to die. There's a time to plant and a time to uproot. There's a time to kill and a time to heal. There's a time to tear down and there's a time to build. There's a time to weep and a time to laugh. There's a time to mourn and a time to dance. There's a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. There's a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. There's a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend. There's a time to be silent and a time to speak. There's a time to love and a time to hate. There's a time for war and there's a time for peace. And I think that scripture covers nearly every element of life. And again I'm reminded of David's life and what he accomplished. And that he was a forerunner and an ambassador. And they don't make them like this anymore. When I read that eulogy, he listed for age 17. I wanted to ask some of the grandsons, who's ready to go to war now?
He wouldn't let me.
No, well there you go. Because he knew the life ahead. But may we remember David, may we never forget him. When we look at this wonderful opportunity, there wasn't a grave, there were no graves in the cemetery. And this appeared for him right at the edge, a privileged position. Somewhere where he's lived for 52 years? You've lived there? How long have you lived there? 52 years. And this was the place that he wanted to be and it was made available for him. And that doesn't normally happen. So let's just be grateful for his life and for his memories. And I want to thank each and every one of you for the opportunity of serving you today. Thank you. Thank you. And you can take your time, but I think the heat and everything else, it's a bit much for everyone and it's going to get warmer. We are going down to the Havering Well, which many of you know, just at the lights. You do a left and the pub's just there. All right?
Thank you for a great service.
Thank you.
I'm going to be putting a bill in for 50 quid extra for the reading that I got 4 o'clock this morning from Dave.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Not at all. It's been absolutely wonderful to serve you. Thank you so much. All right?
Right.
And hopefully I'll join you for a pint or
Please do.
Thank you. Thank you.